Like most of us, when we leave high school, we need to find some work over the summer to make money for college. When I left high school, I worked at a small group home out in Millbrook, New York, and it was a nice setup in this house. There were 10 residents that lived there with varying degrees of intellectual disabilities. We cared for people that had epilepsy, MR, profound MR, Down syndrome, so it really ran the gamut of the people that lived in the house. This one lady that lived there, her name was Sandy, and she was blind in one eye. She could barely see out of the other eye. She was deaf. She was nonverbal. She had a lot of things going on where she needed a lot of support. So Sandy and I would sit at the table. She loved coffee, so I would sit and have coffee with her, and she could sign. She knew sign language, and so over that summer for 4 months, she and I sat at the coffee table, and she would get out a pack of flashcards, and she taught me 900 words in sign language in about 4 months, and I was amazed that this woman who I've been helping, who I've been tying her shoes and helping her make her coffee. She taught me a language, and I really learned a lot about basic human connection. And I have continued the path through my studies, through sign language, and helping those that are less fortunate. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to share with you guys some simple sign that can be fun, they could be useful. I remember I was working in a restaurant, and this couple would come in, and they were a deaf couple. They were very nice. They'd come in a lot, and they would not be able to really communicate with the waiter or the waitress without having to write things down. So, as I said in my last speech about pictures, this was before these pictures had come out, and these were older people, and they were neurotypical people who normally wouldn't use those pictures. But the sign that I had learned from Sandy had helped me be able to allow this couple to feel comfortable in the restaurants because they could sign what they wanted. I understood what they wanted, and they had a really great time, and they became really good friends of mine, and we still see each other every once in a while, but we've formed a nice bond because I learned sign language. So I'm going to teach you guys the alphabet. I'm just going to go through it very slowly. I'm going to go through how to count from 1 to 10 and some few fun words that you can use. I have a lot of fun with it, especially with my young nieces and nephews. So the first thing we'll start off with is the alphabet. All right, we're going to start with an A. Okay, A, B, C, D. And you'll notice that the letters, when you form them with your hand, they look like a letter in your mind. Oh, and one thing I do need to mention, that when you are doing signing, when you are conversing with someone in sign language, you have to pretend that you're inside a frame, like one of those old gilded frames that you see in antique shops or something like that. So you need to be signing inside this frame. So that's important, and your facial expressions are important as well. So there's C, there's D, there's E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. M is it's easy to remember because your thumb goes under your first three fingers. So like the letter M, you're making that with your knuckles. N, you just slide your thumb underneath the first two. So it's like that, an N, so you're under the two fingers. And then O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. The Z is pretty fun. You just form the letter Z with your fingers. So that's pretty basic, and if you can learn the American Sign Language alphabet, you can finger spell any words. And people that are deaf don't mind that. They prefer that you try. They're just ecstatic that you're trying to be able to communicate with them in their language because it can be difficult. So the alphabet's really good to know. Hopefully maybe you can go back and learn it if you don't already know it. Now we're going to learn how to count from 1 to 10. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you turn your hand facing the person, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. I'm not joking, that's 10. So those are fun to learn. And it's also good, it's just a good knowledge base to have in your head if you're gonna, if you know someone that's deaf, you know, you have some fun and they'll appreciate the effort. So remember the frame I was talking about? We're gonna get into some phrases, not phrases, but simple words that are easy to learn and they can be fun, like I said, to do with small children. The first one that I'm going to do, but this frame, the first one is dog, and the sign takes place. The first part of the sign is you slap the side of your leg. So you slap the side of your leg and you snap like you're calling a dog. So that's dog. It's the only sign outside the frame. And for cat, it's simple. You just whiskers. So, you know, you can see how kids can have fun with this. So whiskers for cat. Coffee, Sandy taught me coffee was the very first word I learned in sign. And if you can imagine yourself, you'd make two fists. If you can imagine a coffee grinder, you're grinding coffee. So that's the sign for coffee. Tea, she loved tea. You make a cup hand, you make a C hand, just like with the alphabet with the letter C, you're gonna make a C, that represents your cup. And then you're gonna turn your cup as if you're gonna be drinking. And then for tea, you just, as if you're dipping a tea bag. So it's kind of natural sign. Milk is another natural sign. It's just like you're milking a cow. That's the sign for milk. Soda is a fun one, especially for kids. You're gonna make a fist, put your index finger in the fist and pull it out and pop it. So that's soda pop, which is, I think it's fun. And you know, what goes with soda pop? Popcorn. And this is another fun one, especially for kids. It's just, you're popping, looks like you're popping corn. So these are just a few signs, maybe to help you have some fun over the summer, or, you know, add some knowledge that might be useful to you someday. And, you know, hopefully you can have some fun with it. Hopefully you learn something. And I really appreciate you folks watching this.